Guys, Joel here from the Home Recording Network. Today I wanted to do a video on the 5 plugins that I couldn't live without. And that may seem a little exaggerated, and it is. I mean, we should be able to get a good mix with, whatever plugins we have, but there are certain ones that I use a ton in all of my mixes. And I want to show you which ones those are because I think it could be helpful for you guys. First, I just want to say, I am all in the box when it comes to mixing. I don't have any outboard gear that I use. I used to be obsessed with, finding analog gear and, recording with it. But I find myself just heavily investing in plugins nowadays. One of the reasons why I'm not obsessed with using outboard gear anymore is because my mentor is all in the box, and he, produces music for labels. So if he's doing it, I decided I shouldn't be worried about, finding the most expensive gear anymore. I should just be worrying about finding the best plugins. So the first plugin I'm going to go over is probably, my favorite plugin, and it's the SSL channel strip. And there's a bunch of reasons why I love this plugin. The first reason is it's like 3 plugins in one. It's an EQ, it's a compressor, and it's a noise gate or expander. So right there, it's an easy compressor gate EQ that you could put across all your tracks. So in reality, I could probably only have this plugin and make a pretty decent sounding mix. And this channel strip can be used on anything from drums to vocals, and the EQ sounds great. And this plugin actually made me a better mixer back in the day because before this, I was using all graphical EQs. And when you switch to using a parametric like this, you no longer have the waveform to look at while you're EQing. All you have is these knobs, and you have to use your ears. So this EQ basically just allowed me to train my ears a little bit more for the frequencies that sound nice on all my tracks. And I'll just turn this EQ off, and then I'll play this kick drum and bring it in, and you can see how much of a difference this EQ makes and how nice it sounds. All right, so the next plugin we're going to talk about is another EQ, and I use this EQ on almost all my tracks as well. So I'm usually starting with the SSL channel, and then we need to get a little granular sometimes and really notch out some frequencies or maybe boost some areas. So for that, I am all about the Pro Q2. So this is a Fab Filter plugin, and they do have the Pro Q3 out, which also has a dynamic EQ in it. This one does not, but I haven't gotten that one yet. But this EQ allows you to really get in there and notch out some frequencies. It also allows you to solo the band you're playing with so you can hear what you're cutting or boosting. Also with this plugin, if you're working on a stereo track, so this is on my vocal bus, you can change this from left right to mid side, which will allow you to EQ the sides and middle of the mix separately, which is super helpful sometimes for things like mastering. So I use this in mastering all the time when I'm just trying to maybe brighten up the sides of the mix. Next, we're going to move on to a compressor. And this compressor, the CLA 76 from Waves, is my go-to compressor for a ton of my tracks. This is modeled after the 1176, and it's just a great compressor. It's got a super fast release, which we want for most of our tracks, and it can be used on anything from a kick drum to a vocal. And I love this thing on vocals because it gets a great energy vibe going. And same with drums. If you use it on a kick or snare, it's going to give you a lot of punch if you slow this attack all the way down to 1 and keep this release super fast here at 7. What's also great about this is there's 2 revisions. So there's the Blackie and there's the Bluey, which gives a bit more of that analog saturation. So the Bluey is very good for things like bass guitar when you're trying to, give a little extra drive to your bass. The next thing I think is super important for mixing is a multiband compressor. And for those of you who are scared away by them, you really need to dig in and learn them because they can really transform your mixes. So I'll pull this one up that's on my master bus. So there's a lot of multi-bands out there, but this is the Pro MB from Fab Filter, and I like this one the most because you can freely move these sections here about in the frequency area, and you can create a bunch. So it's just super easy to really zoom in on an area and tweak it. Some of the other ones are good too, but I just think the ease of use of this one is great. Now, I use one of these on a ton of my tracks. I'll use them on the drum bus sometimes. I'll use them on the vocal bus. I will use them on the bass guitar tracks even to clean up low mids, and of course the master bus. And this just brings so much energy to the song. So I'm going to play just this part of the song, and then I'm going to turn this off and just listen to how much energy the song loses. Yeah, so that's pretty incredible. If you want that trick, check out my video on the master bus. Also, in my mastering tutorial, I show you how to create energy using one of these. So for my 5th plugin, and I'm going to kind of cheat here, I'm going to say Virtual Mix Rack by Slate. I mean, this is like a million plugins in one, so it's kind of cheating, but it is one plugin, so I'm going to just go with it. So this plugin is just amazing, and it really is all you need to mix a song because there's just so much in here. So under dynamics, we have a ton of compressors, gates. Under EQs, you got a ton of EQs, and these are all modeled after analog equipment, so you get that analog vibe. Under harmonics, we have a bunch of distortion and saturation modules. I mean, this plugin's incredible. And if you get Slate's everything bundle for like $15 a month, you get way more than just virtual mix rack. So I just wanted to add that in here. And I use his plugins in every single mix. So, I'm paying a lot over time with the amount of money I've paid for his plugins, but I mean, it's money well spent. So that's really all I got for my 5 plugins that I can't live without. If you have any questions or anything, let me know, and happy mixing. Guys, thanks for watching. Make sure to download your free Ultimate Home Studio Mix Guide. I made this for you guys so you could start getting your mixes sounding better. There's a lot of great information in there, and be sure to reach out if you have any questions or if you need any help with your mixes. Thanks.